Remember, whenever you make content, whenever you approach content, would I click this if I didn't know who it is? Welcome back to the Pandacast. I'm your host, the CEO of Panda Global and medical doctor, Dr. Alan Bunney. So today's Pandacast is going to be on content, the importance of content, what is content, and how to make content. And this is kind of a continuation of the previous Pandacast about like being a pro player in COVID-19. So if you want to catch that, please watch the previous one. If you enjoy this content, please don't forget, like, comment, subscribe. It would mean the world to us. We're really putting a lot of effort into this YouTube channel and in our other YouTube channels too. So thank you very much if you choose to do so. Now, on to content. How to make content. What is content? Now, number one, content is king in COVID-19 era where there's not as many offline events. Why is content important? Well, if you want to be a pro gamer, you have to make content, period. Especially if you're in a game or a scene that doesn't have a whole lot of prize money. What am I talking about? Well, Smash, for example. Look at someone like Hungrybox, okay? According to Esports earnings, which is probably a little off, Hungrybox in 2019 he's the number one in the world. He won everything. He's an amazing player, okay? He won $26,000 in the year 2019. That is pathetic. You can't be a pro player even if you're number one in the world. You can't make a living off of that. It's a nice amount of money, but you can't start a family. You can't get a house. That is not enough money. So of course he has a team, and they pay him a salary, and he has a Twitch channel where people can subscribe to him. He has a YouTube channel where he's getting ad revenue because people are watching him. Those other revenue streams are really how he's making his money. A pro player, a lot of people think I have to be good to be a pro player and to go full time in esports. That's actually not true. He makes way more money on those other things. Now, those other things he can do because he's got a good personality and because also he's a number one player in the world and people want to see him do things. But the fact of the matter is that is incredibly important. So even if you're not the number one player in the world right now, you can get started on content and it'll make a huge difference for you. Now, what do I mean by content? There's two real types of content, okay? There is VOD content, which is video on demand content that you can watch anytime, which is consumable and pre-made. And then there's live stream content. Those are sort of different, avenues. Whatever works better for you is really what you should focus on. But I will say this, doing both is by far and beyond the most effective way of making content, because if you get big in one, it'll feed into the other. So you can sort of almost double dip in your fan base. You can make more content, you can do more stuff and engage more with your fans by doing that. And if you have a huge YouTube, it'll make your Twitch larger. If you have a big Twitch, you'll end up getting a great YouTube from that. Okay, so now I'm saying content is important, and it absolutely is. If you noticed a couple months ago, basically almost every single player under the Panda Global brand has tweeted out and pinned, for most of them, a schedule for their streams. They have regular YouTube videos coming out. That's not an accident. We had this talk that I'm giving you guys, much more in-depth one, months ago with them. We knew this was going to be important, and actually if we facilitated that, look at like Mars's YouTube channel that we've been able to sort of create from the ground up with him. You look at a lot of other players that are really popping off, and Punk has a really funny YouTube channel, and that's all stuff that we're facilitating because we know this is super important for their livelihoods and for them to have a career in esports going forward. Now, what kind of content you should make as someone who is good at a game is really difficult to decide, especially in the world of COVID. So if you are, for example, a Smash or a fighting game player, you're stuck playing a game that has a really subpar online, okay? Unless you're a Mortal Kombat player, it's decent. That means that there's only so much you can make from your main game, but that is what people know you from. But that's a big thing. You have to sort of establish your genre, establish your main game. Not everyone can be a variety streamer outright in the beginning, and that's a really, really, really difficult thing to do. Of course, the ceiling is highest if you become a variety streamer, but in my opinion, starting with your main game and just showing you being good at it and being entertaining at it is the most important thing, and being big and well known within that community is a great springboard to go to the next thing that will raise your ceiling. If you're in a smaller game, getting known in that small game and then springboard your content to something else is really important. But people want to do variety. They don't always want to play the one game and streaming it, and that's fine, but it's always a balance. It's like a percentage. If you do 100% Smash Brothers content, that's fine. But if you're like, I'm tired of Smash, I'm gonna, jump over to playing Minecraft now, your fans probably won't migrate, okay? You can slowly introduce things to your fan base once you understand your fan base and what they might like over time. But do it as a percentage. If you're 100% Smash, then do 90% Smash, 10% other content, and then slowly start shifting it depending on how people receive it and how people like it. And you can see someone like Alpharad did that over time. Now he can do whatever he really wants because he truly understands his fan base, and his fans get him too. They understand kind of his sense of humor, the kinds of games he likes, and they're very accepting of him to do those things. But that took him years of grinding of daily Smash Bros. Content to get to that point. So it is not easy to get to the point where you become variety, okay? And again, starting out variety is the hardest path if you're going to do that for content. Okay. Now, the volume or the size of your content is also very important. Some people put out Let's Plays, right? And it's unedited, unfiltered, and you're literally flooding your channels because you want to make content, which is a great thing that you want to make content, but you can't release an hour-and-a-half video every day of part 1, part 30, part 82 of you playing like a JRPG. That's just too much. There are some channels like that, and again, you have to work up into that, but that's a really, really difficult thing to do, okay? And that in and of itself is, I think, really, you have to consider, why would someone watch all of this? And would someone just jump in the middle of it? Don't go incredibly long. In my opinion, and what we've seen and what we know, that really does not work for someone that wants to be a pro gamer or in esports at the very least. A general gamer, perhaps. And also, it can't be too short. It can't be too bite-sized. Too bite-sized doesn't lead to establishing a fan base. It's not monetizable, unfortunately. When you look at VODs or even Twitch streams of 4 hours or longer are shown to be way more effective at curating fan bases. So you can't just do a quick 30-minute stream and be done with it. You have to actually dedicate to it. And same with the VODs. You can't do a 2-minute video and really see a lot of success as a pro player unless it's a really, really, really highly edited, crazy stylistic, awesome sort of highlights thing. It's not really gonna work. Okay, so there's a size of content of your content that you really need to hit, and there's a sweet spot. There's a Goldilocks. There's somewhere between 6 to 20 to 30 minutes, maybe. That's a decent size. Okay, and then of course, all of this advice I'm giving to you guys is really general. Okay, there are absolutely things that will break the sort of rules I'm giving you and the guidelines I'm giving you right now, and that's fine. There are reasons why. These are exceptions. But if you're just trying to get started, this stuff should just help focus you a little bit and help you understand a little bit about what people want to see. If you want to go in your own direction, do it. Just know what you're doing, okay? Then there's the regularity of content, okay? So we talked about volume. The regularity is super important, and regularity is the most important thing probably overall when it comes to something like YouTube or Twitch. Knowing when you're going to be streaming is important. Having a stream schedule, because imagine your stream is like a TV channel. If I'm turning on at 8 o'clock on Sundays, I don't have cable anymore, so I don't know why I'm using this example, but if I turn on 8 o'clock on Sundays trying to watch, the show that I'm looking forward to every week, and it's not there, I get upset. But I also will always tune in at 8 o'clock on Sundays for that TV show because I'm looking forward to that all week. And that's the same concept of having a stream schedule. People know when to watch you. People, when they see a clip of you doing something funny that goes viral, and they're like, man, this seems cool. I want to watch this guy. What is his schedule? If you're like, well, he doesn't have a schedule, he streams every couple of days, that's rough. If someone's like, well, when can I catch her next YouTube video? Well, she kind of uploads whenever she wants, and it's not really that regular. That's rough. You want to have regular consumption of both YouTube and Twitch, and for people to know kind of when your next things are coming. Now, YouTube is a little bit of an exception there. There's a lot of people that will make really high-end content. We'll get to that in a little bit, and they'll do that at their own pace. But that's really a very few people now. So regularity is super important, and remember, content is a grind. Okay, if you're going to dedicate yourself to doing 3 videos on YouTube a week, then do those 3 videos on YouTube a week. If you're gonna do 4 streams a week, then do those 4 streams a week, and keep yourself accountable. If you miss days, make it up. Once you establish a fan base, people looking for this regularity, they'll be really disappointed when they don't get that, and you're sort of ignoring those people by not addressing that or not giving back to them in those scenarios, okay? Then there is the personality in your content. Now, the personality is super important. You can't just do dry content where just, no mic, no cam, just playing some game, and that's it. Unless you're a big name, you can do that, but otherwise, it's tough. Why would someone consume that sort of content? You have to insert some personality, and you have to sort of get your own brand and understand what that means. But that's not easy. That takes time. You may not get that in the beginning. It may just take you playing in the beginning, joining a few friends, or just, try experimenting and trying things and seeing what your audience responds to and what people seem to like, and then you go a little bit more in that direction. But personality content is very important. This also affects a lot of the flow, a lot of whether or not you can get away with 20-minute videos, or whether or not you should do 6-minute videos, or whether or not your streams should be 8 hours, or if they should be, the bare minimum kind of 3 to 4 hours. A lot of it depends on your personality and what you're able to extract out and what people are looking to you for, okay? Then there is the quality of your content. Now, this is a really hot topic, okay? I have had plenty of players who were absolutely paralyzed before they would start their content, because they would be like, oh, I want it to be perfect. I want it to be amazing. I want it to be a resource that no one's ever had before. I want to do something that's completely unique. They would just sit there planning and say, I don't want to start my content until I have a whole month planned out ahead of time. Those players have never started a YouTube channel. Never. Because it's incredibly difficult. You just have to start. Don't worry about the quality in the beginning. Work on that over time. Figure out what you want to do before you do that. Yes, of course, there are absolutely some channels. Look at like Coney Gaming. They have amazing quality of their videos. People that put a lot of effort, a lot of editing, and those channels are great, but those channels are really difficult to actually make a living off of. So if that's what you want to go, you're again climbing a mountain, and good luck, because those videos are phenomenal and absolutely worth consuming, but at the same time, you don't know what those even look like unless you already have in mind exactly what it's supposed to be, and that's really, really difficult. So quality, but the quality can't be too low either. You can't just have like a 20-minute straight video of you just playing and then occasionally something funny and just blank. Like giant gaps of not speaking. There's a flow, there's a cadence. People have to be entertained and have to want to continue watching. So the quality of the content, again, there's sort of a Goldilocks here. Over-edited is phenomenal and great, but also takes a lot of time to do, and making those things regularly is hard. And under-edited is the opposite, where sometimes because of the flow of things, you have to edit it to keep it entertaining. That is, there's no clear-cut answer for what the quality of your videos should be, but I can tell you this: existence is more important than quality. And if you are like, I want to make my first YouTube video the best thing ever, and you spend a month doing it and then you never release it because it's just never perfect to you, you don't even have a channel then. So I would say be okay with it. Get it out, make it exist, and then figure out later what you want to do. And that's totally fine. Now, the last thing I wanted to say about content, but perhaps the most important thing of all, is you have to always remember when you're releasing your content, after you do the editing, after you know what it's like, or after you're planning your stream, you're like, I'm gonna play this game, why should someone watch it? Would you click it? If you're a relative unknown and you're doing a Twitch stream and you're like, grinding Elite Smash is your title, would you click that from someone you don't know? Probably not. You always have to, when you're advertising yourself, advertising your channel, whatever channel it is, you have to always keep in mind, would you click that? If you answered that with a no, then I'm sorry. My Final Fantasy VII Remake Run Part 34 is not a title I would click. You should probably evaluate that. You should probably think about that. You should probably redo it and just do something that you, in particular, would click if you didn't know who you already were, okay? That is something is pervasive throughout all of this stuff. Would someone watch this? Would someone click this? That is a super, super important concept that you have to tackle at every level, from the editing to the content itself, to the titles, to the thumbnails, to the gimmicks to your streams, because a lot of people have gimmicks about doing Ironmans and other things. You have to do something that someone out there who doesn't know who you are will want to consume. So those are a lot of different points about content, but to bring it all back, really, you have to decide what kind of content you're doing from the games itself, and sort of the balance of that, which takes time again. You have to decide the size, the volume of the content, really how much are you going to be doing. You have to decide your regularity. Set it from the get-go. 2 videos a week, do it. Stick to it. 1 video a week even. Go for it. 1 video a month if you want to do the super high quality stuff. Whatever it is, stick to it, okay? Keep yourself accountable. And then the personality in the content, you have to give a personality. It can't just be bland, and it has to be something that people can engage with. And then the flow of the content, depending on your personality, the flow is really important about keeping people engaged, and that will really decide, in my opinion, how much editing is necessary. Then there's the quality of the content. Again, very debatable topic, but if you want to shoot for the moon, do the super high quality stuff, go for it. It's really, really difficult. Don't do the super low quality stuff, because that won't get an audience. There is somewhere in the middle for anyone that's starting out that is a really great sweet spot, and try to shoot for that if you can. And then again, remember, whenever you make content, whenever you approach content, would I click this if I didn't know who it is? That, if you can answer that question, if the answer to that is yes, every time you tweet out a link to your stream, yes, this is interesting enough that I would click the link, then you're going to start succeeding. So, thank you for watching this Pandacast. Again, please like, subscribe, and comment. If you have any ideas for future Pandacasts, please let me know. Esports, medicine, whatever you guys want to hear, want me to rant about, or if you want me to bring on guests, I am reading all the comments. I really appreciate it. So remember, I am Dr. Bunney, and it's the Pandacast. Remember, keep it PG.